So Morbius came back into the theaters and it did okay. Which again, Morbius has been on digital, and yeah, it was even on Twitch for a week. But nope, Alita. That the two movies that were being talked about as well. There's also the Northman. The Northman got a very unlucky box office one. Okay, despite which really goes both ways. If the critics don't like something, something bombs. Or even if the critics really like a movie like the Northman, okay, it still might not do well because again, it's not attached to a franchise. Which Morbius technically made more money than the Northman on the theaters, but the other movie that people campaigned for re-release in theaters is Alita. They already tried once in 2020 and it didn't really make that much money. I made that video. People were like, really? Why are you saying that? That's still a lot of money. 148,000 is still 148. It was 128,000. 128,000 it made in 1,000 theaters. They re-released it in the same amount of theaters as Morbius, and it made actually technically less money. Okay, so the movie is available on Disney Plus. It is available on Disney Plus right here. It's also available. Has been available on digital and Blu-ray as well for a while. It has been available on FX, also on TV. It also has been on TV for a while worldwide, except for China and North Korea and some other countries. But it has been on HBO Max as well. I don't think HBO Max. I think it was HBO to HBO TV, and it was put on to FX. Because typically every Fox movie releases on the HBO channel, and then they go on to either Hulu or Disney Plus, and of course they go on to mainstream cable TV. Okay, so Alita has been available at home for years now. Okay, and typically they don't know, not unless it's like a very very special occasion. They don't really re-release movies in the theaters. Okay, they don't really re-release a movie into the theaters. Okay, it's typically movies that gain quote unquote popularity from the internet or had a fan demand to bring them back into the theaters. Achanto, they brought back Achanto into theaters, and still no one watched it. Okay, because it was already available on Disney Plus, and of course in digital HD, and also came out on Blu-ray a couple weeks afterwards. But also with Morbius, it has been on digital since the 17th. Okay, it's also coming out on Blu-ray in 10 days too. So really, there's really no point unless you want to have the theatrical experience. Because I know those people who really prefer the theatrical experience over all other experiences, of course, with any movie. Okay, and Morbius, wasn't really well received, especially by the critics. The audiences were mixed, but the critics really didn't like the movie, of course. Even though they hate, it's funny they hate Morbius for the same reasons they hated the Venom movies. They hated the Venom movies, and they hated Morbius. Even though it's funny they hated Morbius, but they gave Black Widow, which was a similar type of movie. It was again, Black Widow was widely hated by a group of people called the Phantom Menace, and apparently TikTok as well hates Black Widow, but you know, but Alita is on all of this. Okay, you can really buy it. You can really buy it anywhere now. You can buy it on any digital service. You can watch it on Disney Plus. So if you really want to watch Alita, just watch it on the Disney Plus if you have it on Disney Plus, or buy the Blu-ray if you don't have the Blu-ray yet. Like I already have the movie on Blu-ray. I don't need to buy it again. I'm not gonna buy a movie I already own. Maybe if I ever get a 4K TV and a 4K Blu-ray disc, 4K Blu-ray player, I can get Alita on 4K. That would be the only reason I would buy it again, is to get the 4K version. Everybody say the 4K version is better, but yeah. I think the real and shows really how touched Disney is of people, because the Alita fandom has been demanding for a sequel. But here's a Chip and Dale movie, or here is a Pinocchio remake that nobody wants, but people want a Alita sequel. Oh, you don't get your Alita sequel, okay? It's not gonna make any money, okay? That's basically how Disney views it now, okay? Disney's not gonna make it, okay? Apparently Disney does own the rights, so if anyone was hoping that Paramount would pick it up, or Paramount, or Warner Brothers, or Sony would pick it up. Well, apparently Disney does now have a lock, at least for the streaming rights for the movie. The the at the very least, it is on a lot of other services. And Alita is one of those series, it's one of those movies that's kind of in the gray area. And I think the reason why they don't want to make a sequel is simply because they probably know no one's gonna watch it. Okay, no one might watch it as well. Okay, if you look at the growth, well, I made this point before. Okay, 1/3 of the worldwide gross for Alita was in China. Okay, it was in China. And not everybody goes to the theaters, okay? Okay, Alita made a lot of money in China. 1/3 of its worldwide gross for Alita was in China, okay? And China, you know, you only get a certain amount back from China. You don't really get a lot. So without China, okay, Alita makes around $230 million worldwide. Without the Chinese box office, and films have struggled to get a Chinese release date, especially Marvel. Okay, you know, Alita without a Chinese release date, if it had, the budget is, if a sequel's budget is the same as the original, you're gonna say, but you can keep the budget. No, you're not gonna make the budget only 16 million. This is how. That's how they. That's because they think that the movie. They can have a budget of 60. No, a lot of movies, or even like sequels, a lot of sequels, like the Marvel sequels, they use the same CGI, but they still cost around 150 to $200 million to make. Okay, even more than $200 million at some points. Okay, even though they use the same characters, even though they use the same plot, similar plot. They use the same character, main characters. Okay, you know, they might want to make Alita look better for the sequel, which is gonna cost a lot of money. Okay, for example, the second Sonic movie still cost the same as the original. Actually, technically, it costs more than the original, I think. First one cost 90 million, the second one cost 110 million. Probably because they already have the render for Sonic, so all they really had to do was make Tails and Knuckles and all the CGI. Okay, but see what if they? Because they're gonna need CGI to create other new characters or new background characters. They do have a set, but they need to make new characters. New besides Nova, they need to make new villains, like more underlings for Nova, and considering that in the manga, Japan who was in the first movie, has a much bigger role, which means they're going to have to use him again, and he has multiple different forms. Alita in the manga also has multiple different forms as well. Okay, which means they're going to have to use new CGI for those new forms. Okay, which means the budget will probably be the same as the first movie, around $150 million to $200 million. Which means even if the sequel makes more money than the first one, like $350 million worldwide, to be as a estimate, okay, the movie still is considered a financial failure, as much as people would like to sugarcoat it. Oh, but made money on Blu-ray, or made money, that, blah, blah, blah. The same reason why it's right, the difference between that, like, for example, the Black Widow movie still cost $200 million to make, okay, despite Black Widow always being a part of the MCU, okay, just because you have a character that's already established doesn't mean it won't cost that much money. Same thing with the Fantastic Beasts sequels. Okay, they both cost $200 million to make. Star Wars, they still cost $200 million to make for each of the sequels of the Star Wars, despite using the same exact characters. Okay, because in the sequels, they're going to have to introduce new characters. They're going to have to introduce new characters, and of course, make CGI around those characters. Even like Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 cost $140 million. And of course, Sonic 2 and Sonic 1. Sonic 2 cost more money because they had to put in Tails and Knuckles in the movie as well. And Tails was in the first Sonic movie. But even then, between Sonic 1 and 2, they still changed Tails' design slightly to make the design, tweak it a little bit. Like add more fur or blah, blah, blah. Make minor changes to the design. But even minor changes to a character design cost a lot of money, okay? They said redesigned Sonic cost around like $5 to $10 million. Okay, but all he really did was like change. They didn't really have to change much of Sonic's design, other than get rid of all the uncanniness. Okay, and Alita, in the manga that Alita gets multiple different bodies throughout the series. So basically, you're gonna have to cost way more to make sequels. Okay, it's not gonna be $60 million. And this movie like Alita sequel is not gonna cost $60 million. It's gonna at bare minimum it's gonna cost at least 120 to 140 million dollars to make. Okay, and this is the why and yeah. That's why Disney won't make an Alita sequel. Okay, that's why Disney will not make a sequel to Alita. Okay, because there's no China release probably because Hollywood and China are at China and Hollywood are at the throats basically because Hollywood's done with China's censorship. So basically, they have to try to make up the money through domestic and internet and domestic and of course the remaining international markets buying Russia and China. Which means they're gonna have to make more money in countries like Indonesia, Philippines, which in Philippines the Arita is very popular. Japan, which is what Arita was created, Taiwan as well. Well, and of course Europe as well. Well, and of course the United States, Canada, Mexico, Latin America, and India as well. They're gonna have to make more money in all those countries in order for Arita sequel to do well. So basically, if you wanted to read a sequel to do well, and if you want a sequel to the movie, you're gonna have to tell more people to watch the movie. Okay, because I talked to people, a lot of people, and I said, "Have you seen Alita?" And most of them, 90%, they said, "I never even heard of Alita." Okay, that's the thing. Okay, no one's gonna, the existing fan base will come out and see it, which will probably be $120 million domestically and probably around $200 million internationally without China. Okay, without China. Okay. Actually, probably around $300 million, $250 to $300 million, probably around $300 million internationally without China. Which means the movie could make money if the budget isn't $200 million. Which means technically the first movie will outgross the second movie. The first movie will outgross second movie because it made $270 million without China. Okay, it made $143 million in China, $270 million worldwide. Actually, that's around what's worldwide. So that means it made $145 million internationally. So that means the movie will probably make half. No, okay, so yeah. Oh wait, this is Chinese world box office versus worldwide. We made $85 million domestically, and 100. And I'm really bad at math. I'm very very sorry. It made around $190 million internationally without China. Okay. $270 million worldwide. If you exclude the domestic, it's $180 million internationally. So $180 million internationally. So it's going to have to make like $250 million international. A sequel will probably make $250 million internationally and around $120 million domestically. It means $330 million. And once the budget's like $150 million, the movie might not make, a sequel might not make that much money. Okay, if it's $150 million, it might make money. $130 million, it's iffy. Okay, there's a real gray area, but $200 million, definitely no. Okay, Fantastic Beasts flopped, Eternals flopped, and those movies had a budget of $200 million. So what they really have to do is try to keep the budget low if they do make a sequel, because the movie can't, a Rita sequel can make money. Okay, a Rita sequel can make money. Okay, but they're gonna have to, keep down the budget, tone it down. Whereas I think they're perfectly capable of doing that, but considering it's Disney, if Disney owns the rights to the movie, Disney's going to try to make it as expensive as possible so it flops. That's how Disney is. So they're going to try to market the movie, or they're going to ignore the movie basically. And let's vote against, what's a big movie? Or they're going to vote against the next Jurassic Park movie. And they're going to be like, or they're going to vote aside like Dark Phoenix. They did with Dark Phoenix. So you can get the X-Men out of the MCU. Because they, Alita is technically a competitor to the MCU, and Disney does not want that. That's probably why Disney said, I won't even make a sequel to the first place. Problem was solved. We don't have to make the deal of another series competing with the MCU. So that's fake about this series. And I'm sorry, I'm terrible at doing math. But an Alita sequel, there won't be made, because it needs China to make money. It's one of those movies that needed China to make money, basically, what I was saying. Okay. Even if there is an increase in box office. Whereas for an Alita sequel, it probably would make more money worldwide than the first movie because of how well the fans will see it. Let's look at Sonic 2. But it might make the Sonic 2 numbers. $370 to $380 million worldwide. which is definitely way better than the first movie worldwide, but that's with no Chinese money. Okay, if it does release in time, it might make $120 million, and it will make $500 million worldwide. But it's not gonna make $800 million worldwide. No, it's not gonna make $800 million. Okay, very rarely a sequel makes $800 million from the first one, unless it's that isn't a superhero film. Okay, that is a widely known character already. So that's basically about this video. Goodbye.